What if I told you there's a scientific blueprint for living a good life? I'm not just talking about feeling happy now and then, but about truly, deeply flourishing. Well, there is one. It's called the PERMA Model, and today we're going to break down exactly what it is and how it works. We all ask ourselves this question at some point, right? What does it actually mean to live a good life? Is it about having a lot of money? Is it about success? Or is it just about being happy all the time? Well, it turns out the real answer is a little deeper and a bit more interesting than that. See, the real goal isn't just about chasing a temporary good mood. It's about flourishing. And that's a state of complete well-being where you're not just getting by, you are absolutely thriving. And lucky for us, the PERMA model basically gives us a map to get there. So, this entire model is built on 5 key pillars. We've got positive emotions, engagement, relationships, meaning, and accomplishment. We're going to go through each one, and we'll start right at the beginning with P. All right, so the very first pillar is positive emotions, and this is about way more than just feeling happy. It's about intentionally making space for feelings like joy, gratitude, and hope in your life. Think about it. When you're in a positive mood, it does more than just feel good in the moment. It actually allows you to look back on your past with a sense of gladness, look to the future with real hope, and truly soak up the present. It literally broadens how you see the world and its possibilities. And here's what's so fascinating. The ripple effect is huge. Experiencing positive emotions isn't some selfish act. It actually makes you a better performer at work, it can improve your physical health, and it strengthens your connections with other people. Feeling good is, in a very real way, contagious. So how do we get more of this good stuff? Well, the key is to be intentional about it. You have to actively make space for things that bring you joy, whether that's a hobby, or spending time in nature, or just connecting with your friends. And here's a big one. You can actually train your brain to stop automatically expecting the worst and start looking for the upside in things. Okay, next up is E for engagement. This is all about finding that kind of magical state that psychologists call flow, where we feel completely 100% alive and absorbed in what we're doing. Have you ever been so into something, maybe it's playing an instrument or a sport, or even a really interesting project at work, that time just seems to melt away? That's flow. It's this state of complete, almost blissful immersion where you are totally focused on the now. And this contrast right here is exactly why engagement is so vital. You know that feeling when you're just sitting around doing nothing? You get bored, you start overthinking things, maybe feel a little useless. But when you're in a state of flow, that creates momentum. You feel energized, focused, and incredibly productive. The truth is, we just don't thrive when we're disengaged. So the million-dollar question is, how do you find it? Well, it really starts with figuring out what you're naturally good at, what your greatest strengths are. Then the trick is to find activities that let you use those strengths. That's the sweet spot where you're most likely to feel confident, inspired, and completely absorbed. This brings us to pillar number 3, R for relationships. And honestly, a lot of researchers would argue that this one is one of the most important pillars of them all. It's a real heavy hitter. I just love this quote. It's not just that a problem shared is a problem halved, it's that joy shared is literally joy multiplied. When we share good news or positive feelings with people we care about, that joy actually gets bigger. And hey, this isn't just some nice-sounding idea. It's backed by some of the most solid science out there. There's this incredible Harvard study that followed people for over 80 years. And what was their single biggest finding? The most powerful predictor of long-term health and well-being wasn't fame or money, but the quality of their close relationships. It makes sense, right? At our very core, we're social animals. We need connection. These relationships give us a support network, they help us keep perspective when we're struggling, and they give us that fundamental human need for a sense of belonging. Okay, let's move on to our 4th pillar, M for meaning. This is all about connecting to a purpose that's bigger than just our own individual wants and needs. So meaning is that feeling that you're part of something bigger. That something could be your family, it could be a political cause, a charity you volunteer for, your local community, anything really. It's the core belief that you're using your time and your talents for good. And finding meaning isn't passive, it's an active process. It really starts by getting super clear on what you value most. Then you go find your people, others who share those values. The goal is to align what you do every single day with what you truly believe in. and to see that deeper mission in your work and in your life. And that brings us to our final pillar, A for accomplishment. This is all about that innate human drive we have to pursue and achieve our goals, often just for the pure satisfaction of doing it. We've all heard that winning isn't everything, but let's be honest, people need to win sometimes. Achieving our goals, big or small, builds hope. And looking back on our past successes gives us the confidence we need to tackle future challenges. It motivates us, and it can even inspire the people around us. Now, a fantastic tool for this is the SMART Goals Framework. It helps you turn vague wishes into a concrete plan. You want your goals to be specific, you know exactly what you want, measurable, so you can actually track your progress, achievable and realistic, so you don't set yourself up to fail, and finally, trackable, so you always know exactly where you stand. So there you have it. That's the blueprint for flourishing. Positive emotions, engagement, relationships, meaning, and accomplishment. It's not about picking just one. They all work together to build a life that isn't just happy, but one that's deeply, truly fulfilling. And that really leads to the final and maybe most important question. You don't have to tackle all 5 of these pillars at once. Just look at this blueprint and ask yourself, which single area feels like the most important one for you to focus on right now? Which pillar will you start building on today?